Story 1. As I lay on the road, I found myself immersed in a profound darkness, a void that seemed to stretch endlessly. It was as if all light had been extinguished. But then, gradually, the darkness began to fade, replaced by a soft gray hue. And before I knew it, a brilliant white cloud enveloped my surroundings, bringing a sense of clarity and serenity. It was as if I had transcended the earthly realm and entered a realm of pure tranquility, akin to floating in the vastness of space. And as I continued, there was a remarkable absence of any physical sensations such as wind or sound. As I accelerated through the tunnel of light, the stars around me became a blur. At the end of the tunnel, a brilliant pinprick of light caught my attention. Drawing nearer, the light expanded until I was enveloped by its radiance. Suddenly, I found myself in a breathtaking realm adorned with majestic mountains, lush green grass, and a sky of the purest blue. I caught sight of a meandering stream just a short distance ahead of me. The sunlight danced upon its surface, creating a sparkling spectacle. The water was remarkably transparent, resembling liquid air in its pristine clarity. I caught sight of a towering tree in the distance, standing at an impressive height of around 400 to 500 feet, though it was probably closer to 500 yards away. The leaves displayed a stunning array of colors, ranging from golden green to brown and yellow. It seemed to glisten as if adorned with countless diamonds. In the blink of an eye, I found myself standing right beside the tree, as if transported there in a mere second. I marveled at each individual leaf, observing how they reflected the dazzling array of colors and light. Raindrops clung to the leaves, creating a mesmerizing display of rainbows within each droplet. As I reflected on the incredible distance I had covered, my gaze fell upon a cluster of massive rocks to my left. Intuitively, I sensed that someone of great significance awaited me there. In the far distance, I also caught sight of individuals adorned in vibrant fluorescent hues. However, my focus returned to the rocky outcrop, and I made my way towards it. In a matter of moments, I stood before a young woman, approximately 18 or 19 years old, whom I instinctively recognized as my soulmate. As soon as our eyes met, we both experienced a moment of mutual recognition. I could see the surprise in her expression, mirroring the astonishment I felt myself. It was then that I realized something peculiar had occurred. I had left this place only moments ago, yet in the span of a few minutes, I had aged 13 years according to Earth's time. The situation was perplexing, to say the least. What struck me the most about my soulmate was her unique appearance. Unlike the other beings I had observed from a distance, she was dressed in a vibrant green outfit reminiscent of Robin Hood. Additionally, her hair was cropped short, giving her a boyish charm, and her skin possessed an ethereal whiteness akin to marble. In my encounter, as I neared her, she conveyed to me that it was not yet my moment, and that I couldn't remain. I distinctly recall begging and weeping, imploring her to let me stay. However, she insisted that I had things to witness before I could return and stay for as long as I desired. With a wave of her hand, I was pulled back into the same luminous tunnel I had entered through. This may seem like the conclusion of the tale, but in reality, it is only the start. After witnessing my stepdad desperately performing CPR on me, I regained consciousness and found myself back in my own body. As I slowly opened my eyes, I couldn't help but feel a surge of anger towards my stepdad for bringing me back. I resented him for my return, blaming him for the pain and suffering I had to endure. However, as time passed, I began to understand that he was only trying to save my life, and my resentment gradually faded away. Despite my physical discomfort and inability to move, I remained in bed for 3 weeks since we couldn't afford medical treatment at that time. I kept the experience to myself because I did not know what to think. I was influenced by various experts who claimed that such experiences were simply a result of oxygen deprivation and the brain shutting down. This left me feeling confused for many years. However, one day while watching a TV show about near-death experiences, I came across a group discussion featuring people who had been declared dead but survived. Among them was a man who had also been electrocuted while adjusting his roof antenna. Hearing his story validated my own experience and made me realize that it was indeed real. As I listened to him, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was as if he had lived the exact same experience I had 17 years ago. He described everything in the same order I did, from the vibrant green grass to the breathtakingly beautiful sky. He even mentioned the crystal-clear brook that sparkled in the sunlight and the tree with its shimmering, multicolored leaves. It was like he had seen the same sunlight sparkling through each raindrop on each leaf. And then he mentioned something that sent chills down my spine, the young teenage girl in the green Tinkerbell outfit, just as I had described her. She told him that it wasn't his time yet, that he had to return until it was his time to come back. It was an uncanny coincidence, or perhaps something more. I was taken aback and found it hard to catch my breath, as there were far too many similarities for this to be mere chance. In that moment, I became certain that what I had just experienced was undeniably real. At that moment, everything in my life shifted. I was certain that there was more to existence beyond death, that a heavenly realm existed, and that there was a divine presence in the form of God and Jesus Christ. This realization forever transformed my perspective. This story was shared by Johnny D. and happened in 1973.
Story 1. It was a party at night and I just wanted to have fun and unwind. I was with friends who smoked cannabis joints. I had never smoked this in my life. Out of pride, I dared not tell the friends who were present that I was not feeling well. So I got up to go to the bathroom. I got to the hallway and closed the door behind me. I started to feel my vision blurring, and I was stumbling while walking. I suddenly fell down. I felt absolutely no pain. Just then, I started to see a dark tunnel with an ultra-bright white and scintillating light at the end. I was attracted by the light, and therefore decided to get closer to it. Once I arrived in the light, my maternal grandfather, who had died when I was 13, welcomed me with open arms. I was happy to finally be able to see him again. We started talking and he told me that I had just fainted, but that I must not worry, that everything was going to be fine. We went over my life until that day, in a loop format. Then I saw my paternal grandmother, who had died when I was 16. I asked my grandfather why my grandmother was in the dark. He told me to not look at the dark, to always fix the light. He said to me, "Grandma is in the dark because she left with a heavy secret that was never revealed." He revealed it to me and told me to use the knowledge wisely. We were not solid. We were like a luminous, shimmering vapor. It felt truly an unconditional love, incomparable to anything down here on earth. I also remember that there was a golden line that I wanted to cross. My grandfather shouted at me to stop. If you cross that line, there is no turning back. But if you don't cross it, you may still be able to choose to return to your body. Look at you. I turned around and saw myself in the hall, lying on the ground where I had fallen. My friends were on top of me trying to revive me. I could feel their stress. I tried to ask them to stop, to tell them that I was fine and that I was quite well. But of course, no one could hear me. My grandfather said, "You still have a lot to accomplish here on earth, and your earthly mission is not over. The time has not yet come to join me." He added, "You have a 1.5-year-old son who needs you." I asked, "How do you know that, since you died when I was 13 years old?" He replied, "From up here we know everything and see everything." We both said to each other, "See you soon." I returned to my physical body as if I were diving from the 4-meter-high diving board of a swimming pool. Once my soul had returned to its place in my body, I woke up with friends above me who were more than panicked. I had trouble breathing and couldn't speak. They had to take me outside and pour cold water on my face. It took 10 minutes before I could sober up. I still felt sick, but after the 10 minutes, I remembered in detail the magnificent experience I had just had. I didn't dare share it right away. I was afraid that they would not believe me and call me crazy, although I knew what had just happened to me. Since then, my intuition is extremely developed, and I often enjoy astral outings outside of my body. Death no longer scares me, because I am now convinced that there is another kind of afterlife after the death of our physical body. This story was shared by Sinayev and happened in 2011.